Doesn't mean much. Doesn't much. Doesn't mean much. Doesn't much.
Hey, thank you so much for being here, people. We have got a ton going on. I'm just going to launch right into it. I've got so much I want to talk about. I don't know if we're going to be able to fit it all in. We'll see how long I end up streaming for. Let's start with hold on just a second. So let's start with a couple of things. The country of Belarus has amended its constitution, probably while most of you are asleep, in order to allow them to be a nuclear armed state, and it looks like that is to allow Russian nuclear weapons to be deployed in their country, and there are some indications in video that is happening already. I don't think that this is particularly threatening. I don't think that the extra couple hundred miles that they get out of being further into Belarus is any more or less threatening than they were back here, to be honest. Just my personal thought, but there we have it. But there have been a couple of other things that have happened since then as well. Belarus has also announced that they're going to be joining the war effort in full, so they're going to be sending their own troops. And that becomes interesting and concerning. Give me just a second. I want to make sure that I can view the chats that might be coming in on Odyssey, because I don't have that pulled up. There we go. Alright, yeah, we are live at all three places, in case anybody's wondering. We're live on DLive, YouTube, and Odyssey. So let's do this backwards roll here real quick. So Zelensky's called on the EU to immediately adopt Ukraine under a new special procedure. This is going to be interesting. We're going to talk a lot more about this because the EU is also giving them fighter jets. And so there's a lot of questions about that, and I've just got some speculation around that. Captured equipment from the 76th Guards Air Assault Division last night on the outskirts of Kiev. So I guess I should start this with Kiev still stands. There are reports right now that the Russian army is calling... Well, and again, this could all be propaganda. Let's clarify and let's start this from the top of the hour. A lot of this stuff could be false reports off the ground. It could be propaganda. It could be various different things for various different reasons. But they're about to start peace talks here around, along the border. I think it's right here, actually. Yeah. The Ukrainian delegation arrived 40 minutes ago. They're going to start peace talks in roughly 19 minutes. Or ceasefire talks, at least, in roughly 19 minutes. Zelensky's obviously not on board that. Stream is good. Good to hear, Quags. Thank you. We're gonna get as live on that as we possibly can, so I've got about 20 minutes to try and catch us up on a bunch of different stuff. Like I said, the Russian army has supposedly told Kiev citizens they need to evacuate, and they gave them a specific road to evacuate on, saying that they weren't going to fire on them. Here's the thing, though. I've heard some sources say that Kiev is surrounded. I've heard multiple other sources say that's not true at all, that Kiev has been partially surrounded at various points, but that the main thrust of the Russian force is still held up around these two airports right here, and that the Ukrainian defenders are holding very strong out in these areas, though they've been having big losses, very obviously. We're going to go into some of those losses later, because there is a website that is tracking all this, and it's including pictures taken in the field by how to word this, is both the civilian pictures that are being taken being aggregated, as well as military operatives that have been taking pictures of all the different losses that they can track. It's pretty gruesome. We're not going to view the website itself. What we are going to do is we're going to show you some of the conclusions that it's reached, and I'm not going to link to it, but I'm going to physically say where you can go on the stream. It's one of those things where if I link to it, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get kicked off YouTube. But I'll tell you where you can go. It's run by the Ukrainian government. It's a pretty good propaganda weapon, honestly. They're using it to kind of say, hey, if your kid is involved in the Russian military and you think he might be in Ukraine, here's where you can go to try and come sort through and see if he's dead. I can't even tell you how what an effective propaganda weapon that is. It's honestly diabolical. But there we have it. Let's see, what else do we got? So the theory is that if they are telling them to get out of Kiev, and they are telling them to get out, which, by the way, I can't even find that message, supposedly. They had a specific route, and I think it was one of these on this side towards Russia. which not good. But the theory is that they might be preparing to use thermobaric warheads when, and I'm going to use air quotes, though you can't see my hands, peace talks fail, as it's theorized that they're supposed to fail. That Russia doesn't want to do peace talks at this point. They have not achieved everything they've wanted to. They even posted a fake video that, like, when I saw it, I think we looked at it last night on stream, but it was a couple of Russians lowering a Ukrainian flag somewhere and putting a Russian flag up, and they claimed that it was Mariupol. The issue is that there are still verified posts coming from the defenders in Mariupol that very much look like, while they're hunkered down and it's not a good situation, they still control the city. So it's a very interesting situation, as always. There have been reports recently that they've now started to hold them here at the town of Tokmak, whatever that is. That's just a little bit northeast of Melitopol. It's another interesting stop. Like I said, they made those. They appear to have made those naval, those marine landings here under controlled conditions after having made several failed and repulsed marine landings around this area. So it seems like they're recommitting those troops that they were going to use to try and take and surround Odessa, and they're instead now recommitting them to Mariupol because of the high number of losses they've been suffering in other theaters. That's something I theorized might happen early on, when it started looking like the resistance was holding off pretty good. Now look, we're going to look at some other maps that show some different things from a guy who's been very accurate. And this, I have to say, is more like what the Russian advance should have looked like in a bunch of areas, but really hasn't. I suspect these guys were already supposed to have been here, right? And I think these guys were supposed to have had enough force to have spread out and come to here and then around to here, and that was supposed to be the plan. It was to surround Kiev and surround all these major cities. But the problem is that the defenders have been holding them off too well for them to have felt comfortable in moving forward that quickly. It's really something. So there's some questions about how supplies are getting over. I've got some articles about that as well. We'll get into that. Ukrainian interior, the Russian army bombed the city of Izium in the Kharkiv region, eastern Ukraine, with mortar shells. Yeah, very, very believable. It's another little town that's just been holding off a huge stab out of Russian territory. UK government sees no major change in Russian nuclear posture despite President Putin placing his strategic forces on high alert, Defense Secretary Ben Wallace says. Wallace has accused Putin of trying to flex muscles with his invasion of Ukraine bogged down. And that would make quite a lot of sense. He is trying to tell Western powers to GTFO. Unfortunately, that's not really working out for him real well. The Western powers have committed even more weapons. Multiple of them have started doing official recruitment drives to get citizens to go and be part of this volunteer force. The Danes particularly, I thought that was very interesting, along with their incredibly large contribution of ATGMs, and I've done a little bit of research. I still haven't been able to find out exactly what the Danish ATGM is, but I suspect we're going to find out. They've just purchased it from some of the other NATO members. We'll find out hopefully tonight. Russian column spotted in Bianka, headed towards Kiev Oblast. Yeah, let's see this column. I'm going to go see if I can get any updates while we're looking at some of this. Yeah, that's another Russian armor column spotted on another traffic webcam that's been hacked into. And they've been continuously forgetting to check these cams as they go by, which is just piss poor OPSEC. sometimes it takes them like 5-6 days after they have control of an area to go back and be like, oh, well, this is where the cams are, let's go back. And then they don't even like destroy them, they just kind of tilt them downwards. So it's another one of these V battalions. Well, battalion, I don't know, but what's he doing there? Taking pictures? Does this have any audio? No, it doesn't. How's the stream sound, Quags? Can you hear my my fish tank air pumps running? I'm always worried about that. I turn them off sometimes, and then other times I forget to turn them off. Actually, I have to turn that loud one back on because I accidentally left it turned off for way too long. Yeah, I'm checking though, and I'm not seeing anything on my visualizer. Looks like my mic is kind of filtering it out. I'd love feedback though. How you guys doing on DLive? Anybody want to talk out there? I see one person watching. Odyssey. We got 2 on Odyssey. Hi guys on Odyssey. I don't even know if the stream is labeled correctly out there. I think it still says February 25th through 26th, and we're clear on the 28th now. I just don't know how to relabel a stream on Odyssey. Alright. It's British Defense Minister. So Slav, what's a camera? LOL. Very true. Can you hear that buzzing? I hope not. I can kind of hear it, which is why I think you guys might be able to kind of hear it. But maybe the music is covering it up. British Defense Minister, the Russians are still failing to achieve major goals and Ukrainians are repelling them on a number of fronts. That's what we're seeing really hard here. Look, if there's just a Russian armor column here and it's big news, it's largely because they haven't moved past here yet, guys, which means Kiev is not surrounded, as some of those reports have said. Sounds great. Haven't heard the pumps once. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Guess the bike is doing its job. Which is funny, because you guys can hear my kids squealing sometimes. I know, because I've gone back and listened to the rebroadcast. Loud explosions heard in Saltvia? Oh, okay. That's outside of Kharkiv. Yeah, I mean, no surprise. Those guys are just getting smashed to hell. Military equipment burning in Ypres. This is where we've said it looks like they've been holding them off. Yup. Looks like those NLAWs are putting in work. They're perfectly designed for an urban area. Ypres getting hammered, though. I hope there's no civilians left in Ypres. Like, every time I see one of these, it's not just the tanks taken out, it's half a neighborhood, and it's not only taken out, it's burned down. Alright, let's see. Russian jet from the side of... Okay, so Russian jet flying over to Kharkiv. Let's go see. I saw this earlier. This is a ground attack medium-range bomber. I think it's a Su-35. Let me look that up real quick. Yeah. It's this Su-35. No, that was not it. What was it? Russian medium-range fighter bomber. The 34, that's what it was. I believe what we just saw is an Su-34. See if I can half screen this. Doesn't want a half screen. Okay. Uh-oh. Opera crashed. So yeah, that's it's a fighter bomber. It's not that they've made no progress towards Kiev, because remember, we're not seeing anybody on the Russian side doing what the Ukrainians are doing, tracking Russian losses, tracking Ukrainian losses. There's nobody doing that, so we don't know how bad this is. The only thing we can really draw is inference of like how much it's being reported there. They're drawing on the civilian population in order to help fight. So it's hard to say. I'll give you more as we get a little further into the live map and see what comes up on it. So it's 2 hours ago. U.S. intelligence officials says Belarus may soon join the Russian invasion. This was what I was talking about. So I want to talk about a video and a translation that a friend gave me. Let me ask and make sure it's cool if I use it. I'm going to ask if it's cool if I read that translation over my stream. Because there's a very interesting video of an apparent high-ranking Belarusian official coming out and just flat out telling Belarusian soldiers to refuse the order to invade. I'm going to check and make sure I don't want to step on his toes. He's a really good guy. So, Ukrainian military pushes Russian troops to the southern entrance of Tomak town after heavy fighting. This is what I was saying. They had pushed up past Tomak. It looked like they had pushed up past Tokmak, but they've been pushed back now according to Ukrainian sources. Yeah, it's just going to be somebody saying it. Ukraine denies Russian forces control of the nuclear power plant. Where is that? Hey, wow, I didn't realize. Jesus, guys. Yeah, I knew they were pushing up this road, and I'd heard that there was a nuclear power plant down in this area that was under attack, but it sounds like that might be part of why they held them so strong in this area, too. It also kind of sounds to me like although they tried to hold them on this area, they really made sure that they were able to reinforce this bank of the Dnieper in order to try and hold them here. Let me go get some more music real quick because we're currently on empty. Cyber Dreams, that'll work. Alright, so while we're just kind of waiting for news, essentially, to come in off the front lines. Uh-oh. Zelensky, we asked oh, yeah. Well, I mean, no, he said that a while ago. So Zelensky asked, that's one of the first things we opened with, Zelensky asked the European Union to admit them immediately under an emergency process. Probably not going to happen. You don't really get to enter treaties while you're in a war, not often. There's some like small reserve situations for that, but unlikely. Let's keep moving. So Russian defense minister has yet again claimed aerial superiority over the country. That's like the 7th or 8th time they've said that. So I'll believe it when I stop seeing Ukrainian jets, essentially, especially with this pledge. Like, they should have already been in theater by now. Those jets that the EU promised, we've kind of figured out where they're coming from. Likely, at least some numbers on those. Like I said, Poland had some that they've mothballed recently, and so those are probably getting turned over. They had to be planes that Ukrainian pilots already knew how to fly. And so the assumption is they're not like, there's been a wild rumor floating around that's just nuts. It's just absolutely nuts and exposes everybody to way too much risk. I don't think it's going to happen. Somebody was claiming that those jets are going to be flown in by volunteer EU pilots who want to join the Kiev military forces, and I don't, or not Kiev, but the Ukrainian military forces. I don't believe that. I don't think that's true. I think that exposes all the countries involved to too much risk. I think it's way more likely that they... Oh, hold on. I don't think any EU countries are providing troops. They're not providing troops necessarily, but the Danes have actually started an official drive to get volunteers to sign up for essentially this new Ukrainian version of a French Foreign Legion. There's actually been several websites that have been documented on how to... I'm not going to endorse them and tell you how to do it, but I will tell you that there are websites out there right now that if you're in North America, it'll give you direct instructions on how to get your plane ticket paid for to get to Poland, how to get over the border, how to declare your intention, and how to get your kit. I also know from friends that are contractors that there are some pretty high-value contracts happening over there right now, and there are some mercenary units probably kitting up to go get hired by the government of Ukraine. So it's interesting. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but our armed forces does that. Certain services allow, like, straight up foreign nationals to join, people who don't have any American residency at all. Russian Air Ministry in for a ballgame. Well, here's the thing, kind of. Like, if they want to commit their really nice fancy planes to this, the MiG-29s that they're going to be sending, we can pull this up real quick, which is the majority of what's going to be available. They're fighters. They're not modern. They're not great. It's part of why, like, the Ukrainian Air Force is just not great. It was developed to counter the F-15 Eagle, but like, that's the regular Eagle, not any of the, like, newer updated variants of the Eagle that make the original version of the Eagle that came out in the 60s look like garbage. Or not 60s. When did the Eagle come out? The Eagle came out in the late 70s, or was it 80s? Anyhow, it's a multi-role fighter. It does air superiority, or at least it was designed to do air superiority. It's questionable in the modern age how well it does that. There are some strategies that they can pursue that are fairly decent. And an interesting thing is going to be that some of these countries have updated their MiG-29s with equipment that the Ukrainian pilots never had before. So it's going to be interesting. I wonder which company government is paying to contract soldiers. Well, that's a big roundabout, right? Because, like, all of these countries are giving money to Ukraine as part of their, like, many of them are giving large dollar value amounts to Ukraine as part of the war, the lethal aid and what have you, and the humanitarian aid. So it's going to be Ukraine ultimately who is signing those checks, but funds are fungible, right? That's a good thing to always remember, is that if you give someone money, that money is fungible, and they can use it for whatever. And so then it becomes some level of moral questioning of, is this, are these other countries paying for that? Or like, are they directly paying soldiers to be there? Or are they giving money to Ukraine, and then Ukraine is spending some of that money to hire soldiers from the same country in order to come fight as mercenaries? I don't know. It's an interesting thought. So, yeah, these MiG-29s, like, oh, there we go. They were developed during the 70s, and if they were developed during the 70s, that means the Strike Eagle probably was flying during the late 70s, would be my assumption. That's generally how these weird leapfrogs work with Russian and American Cold War technology. So, they were introduced in 82. They're not a bad bird, don't get me wrong. I mean, you want them over nothing. But they don't have really good numbers. And like I said, we did some interesting speculation about where potentially and how potentially their Air Force is still operating. I'd like to see numbers on what size of runway a MiG-29 can use. In fact, let's just look this up real quick. MiG-29 takeoff distance. Fulcrum can take off from a strip of only 240 meters. So that is a fairly short airstrip, guys. That's an 800-foot airstrip. So yeah, it looks like Fulcrums were designed to do this thing that I was talking about. And I was trying to find this weapons manufacturer video about those jets that some of these smaller countries that are worried about Russia invading are using in order to operate with it without ever seeing a runway. I can't find it, and it's largely because I don't know what country it was that was doing this, that had done the little display on how they were doing it. But I am gonna try and find it for us tonight. I'm gonna turn, like, here in a minute, I'm gonna turn on a very interesting article that I found from the National Review. It's a few days old, and of course it's the National Review, so it should be taken with a giant grain of salt. But I'm just gonna let it play, and I'm gonna do a little bit of work and find some of these videos. And this is talking about a theory as to why the Russians are struggling. Let me grab it and pop it up in here. It's not bad. It's like a 3 to 5 minute thing, I think, and I'll pause it during the parts where it wants to talk about specific pictures or videos, and we'll watch those together. But it's very interesting, and it gives me a minute to pan while I do some other stuff. Yeah, we're just gonna turn down the volume for that ad read. But anyways, yeah, I want to find this video that I'd found months and months and months ago. I'm not even going to be able to search my history for it because it's been that long ago. But it's I wasn't even thinking about Russian-Ukrainian conflict when it happened, I'll put it that way. It was just something interesting.
Why the Russians are struggling. National Review. As the sun goes down in Kiev, the city has not yet fallen to the Russians. This is unquestionably a defeat for Vladimir Putin. It's important to not get carried away here. The Kremlin is still favored to win this fight. But the last 3 days of combat should put a serious dent in the reputation of this new Russian army. We should, however, try to understand why the Russians are struggling. First, the Russian army's recent structural reforms do not appear to have been sufficient to the task at hand. Second, at the tactical and operational level, the Russians are failing to get the most out of their manpower and material advantage. There has been much talk over the last 10 years about the Russian army's modernization and professionalization. After suffering severe neglect in the 90s, during Russia's post-Soviet financial crisis, the army began to reorganize and modernize with the strengthening of the Russian economy under Putin. First, the army got smaller, at least compared to the Soviet Red Army, which allowed a higher per-soldier funding ratio than in previous eras. The Russians spent vast sums of money to modernize and improve their equipment and kit, everything from new models of main battle tanks to, in 2013, ordering Russian troopers to finally retire the traditional Portianki foot wraps and switch to socks. But the Russians have also gone the wrong direction in some areas. In 2008, the Russian government cut the conscription term from 24 to 12 months. As Gil Barandalla, a former U.S. Marine infantry officer, wrote in 2020. As anyone who has served in the military will tell you, 12 months is barely enough time to become proficient at simply being a rifleman. It's nowhere near enough time for the average soldier to learn the skills required to be an effective small unit leader. Yes, the Russians have indeed made efforts to professionalize the officer and the NCO Corps. Of course, non-commissioned officers, NCOs, have historically been a weakness of the Russian system. In the West, NCOs are the professional, experienced backbone of an army. They are expected to be experts in their military specialty, armor, mortars, infantry, logistics, etc., and can thus be effective small unit commanders at the squad and section level, as well as advisors to the commanders at the platoon and company level. In short, a Western Army pairs a young infantry lieutenant with a grizzled staff sergeant. A U.S. Marine Corps company commander, usually a captain, will be paired with a gunnery sergeant and a first sergeant. The officer still holds the moral and legal authority and responsibility for his command.
Okay. I'm going to pause the article real quick because I just found it. I just want you guys to know, I found the article I was looking for. I even found the specific fighter jet that was developed to be able to do this, and it was the Swedes. It's the Gripen. We're going to be going into a little look at how I think the Ukrainians may have developed tactics around what they saw them doing around an aircraft that they already had that's capable of taking off from very short distances. So we'll talk about that here in a minute.
Opinion of the unit's senior NCOs. The Russian army, in practice, does not operate like this. A high proportion of the soldiers wearing NCO stripes in the modern Russian army are little more than senior conscripts near the end of their term of service. In recent years, the Russians have established a dedicated NCO academy and cut the number of officers in the army in an effort to put more resources into improving the NCO Corps, but the changes have not been enough to solve the army's leadership deficit. Now, let's talk about the Russian failures at the...
Okay, I'm going to pick up reading now since I actually found the article I was looking for. So now let's talk about the Russian failures at the operational and tactical level. It should be emphasized that, again, the Russian army, through sheer weight of man and material, is still likely to win this war. But it becomes more and more apparent that the Russian operation and tactical choice have not made that task easy on themselves. First, to many observers, it's simply shocking that the Russians have not been able to establish complete air superiority over Ukrainian airspace. After 3 days of hostilities, Ukrainian pilots are still taking to the skies. Again, they're still taking to the skies today, as far as I understand it. We're going to have to see, but it's crazy. And Ukrainian anti-air batteries are still exacting a toll on Russian aircraft. The fact that Russians have not been able to mount a dominant suppression of enemy air defense or SEAD campaign, and yet are intent on attempting consistent air assault operations, is simply put astounding. It's also extremely costly for the Russians. To compound this problem, the Russians have undertaken operations in multiple avenues of advance, which, at least in the early stages of the campaign, are not able to mutually support each other. Until they get much closer to the capital, the Russian units moving along north out of Crimea are not able to help the Russian armored column advancing on Kiev. The troops pushing towards Kiev from Belarus aren't able to affect the Ukrainians defending the Donbass in the east. And the Russians moving deeper into Ukraine, as the Russians move deeper into Ukraine, this can and will change, but it unquestionably made the opening stages of their operations more difficult. Third, the Russians, possibly out of hubris, do not appear to have prepared the logistical train necessary to keep some of the units in action for an extended period of time. And this has only continued to get worse, my guys. Like, every bit of this has only continued to get worse as days go on. Multiple videos have emerged of Russian columns out of gas and stuck on Ukrainian roads. We're not going to watch this. We've already seen this before, and there's some debate over whether it's a Russian column or not. I do know that a Russian speaker has verified to me that this is Russian. All right, good. I've got some permission on that other video as well, so we'll be going into that here in a minute. Again, we're unclear whether these are Ukrainian or Russian. I have heard some confirmation from a Russian speaker that the people who are here are speaking Russian, and the person who is in the car is speaking not great, like not the best Russian. It's definitely intelligible, but there are some Ukrainian words tossed in here or there, from what I understand. So, in the Russians' defense, everything is hard in war. It's extremely difficult to keep an army supplied in the field while on the move. What Karl von Clausewitz called friction envelops the battlefield. Friction, Clausewitz wrote, is the concept of that differentiates actual war from war on paper. In combat, friction is what makes even the simplest things difficult. So we shouldn't be surprised that some Russian units are running low on supplies. What's surprising is the scale of the Russians' apparent logistics problems. And again, this is still getting worse. Finally, and in my opinion most glaringly, it is the tactical level. So we'll get into some of this later. This is, I guess we'll finish this portion. There is a strange, counterintuitive law of modern war that says for men to win in a fight against steel and heavy weapons, you must close with the enemy. A corollary to this law is that if both supplies and equipment, both are supplies and equipped in a similar manner, in this case mechanized infantry and tanks, the side that is willing to dismount, get out of their fighting vehicles, and serve as a relatively exposed infantry screen to the armor is going to have a tremendous tactical advantage. Maybe that's what we were seeing in Kharkiv, except for they were not doing those tactics correctly because they were doing the weird, hey, everybody stack behind the vehicle thing. What they're talking about is what I don't know if I even saw this, if I even played this on stream, but what we saw those more elite Russian forces doing around Kharkiv, where they were spread out and cornering the vehicles and checking streets in advance and checking behind and actually defending. Basically acting as a meat shield for the armor, and that's the only way to do it in urban combat. Tanks and armor are incredibly vulnerable to modern anti-tank missiles, and as the Ukrainians have proved, a 2 or 3 man team armed with a Javelin or NLAW anti-tank missile system can wreak havoc on a mechanized column if it's allowed to get close enough to make kill shots. The video shows a Ukrainian soldier carrying a British-made NLAW after an engagement with Russian mechanized assets. Yeah, they were running around Kharkiv, and most of the units were using the vehicle as the screen instead of themselves, which is the opposite of what you want to do in a dismount maneuver in urban combat if you're trying to win. It's what you do when you're untrained and you're really scared and probably shouldn't be the one making decisions, if that makes any sense to you. By the way, thank you, Endora, for showing up tonight. You too, Quags. I appreciate both of you. Let's see. This video shows a Ukrainian soldier carrying a British-made NLAW after an engagement with Russian mechanized assets. Okay, yeah, this is a good video. We watched this early, like day 1 or 2 or 3, I think. This is one of my holy shit slobs videos.
блядь! Твари, блядь! Сдохните! За каждую слезинку, блядь! Твари, блядь! Обещаю, блядь, после этой ебаной войны, блядь, заткнуться на русском языке, блядь, твари, нахуй.
Okay, so as you can see, this is obviously after some combat, but this is how you want them to be. They're spread out, they're wandering around, they're the screen for the vehicle instead of the vehicle being a screen for them. That vid has been on repeat on BBC News. Has it really? Interesting. You can see how light and portable a missile system is. They really are. They're not bad at all. They're deadly serious anti-tank weapons, and the key to countering such weapons is to operate in a combined arms team. So we'll get more into that later. What I want to get into is I want to check and see if there's been any updates about the peace talks, because I don't think that will have gone well. And then I want to get back into a video that I wanted to show you guys. Unexploded Fab 500 bomb found in Russian bunker in dropped by Russian bomber in Kharkiv. This might have been one of the cluster munitions. Let's look up what a Fab 500 bomb is. Soviet-designed 500-kilogram multi-purpose airdrop bomb with a high explosive warhead. Okay, so just a regular old 500-pound bomb. That's Fab 500. Captions are spicy as fuck. Yeah, they really are. Suka pied. Suka pied. Alright. Projectile targeting residential building in Kharkiv. So it doesn't look like there's been any updates on the peace talks. So we're going to go ahead and pull this video up, and here's what I'm going to do. This is not translated in any way on the video that's been released. The only translation I've been able to get is a rough translation from a friend of mine who watched the video and just kind of wrote out his thoughts on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the video up. I'm going to kind of tell you roughly what's going on in the video, and then we're gonna go into it from there, I guess. Hold on. Where's that video? I've got the translation here. I don't seem to be able to find the video. They've got another article that's kind of talking about what the Russians are thinking regarding sanctions. How that seems to be affecting them. We've got a lot of content this morning. Like a lot of content. So I'm glad you guys are with me. By the way, if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe on the platform or follow on the platform of your choice. Give me a like button. It's going to help more people get in here and see it, because the algorithm will be like, "Oh, let me send a couple more idiots their way." Not that you guys are idiots. Just that that's how YouTube views everyone. All right. Let me just see if I can Google it. Appeal from Lieutenant Colonel of Belarusian military. Here we go. This was posted about 22 hours. This was posted about 22 hours ago. It's a 6-minute video. I am going to essentially turn him way down because there's no translation available. I'm going to put the auto-generated Russian closed captioning on the screen. We're going to full screen it. I'm probably going to take this and clip it later. I'm going to take my friend's translation of what happened here. And I'm going to kind of try and read it over the top in the areas where it appears to be what they're talking about, if that makes sense to anyone. Are you tracking like a tank? Report EU jet to arrive within an hour. Same source yesterday. Tagged on tweet. Oh, you tagged me. Thank you so much. I'm going to go grab that real quick before we start this then. Samuel Romani, PhD, Intel Relations, Oxford University, Associate Fellow of... Okay, breaking EU fighter jets will be arriving in Ukraine within an hour. Well, technically they're not Ukrainian anymore, are they? Okay, that was yesterday. This is 2 days ago. No, this is yesterday. Okay. I will get into this more once I'm done here. I'll leave that open. So, a short summary of the video, appeal of the Lieutenant Colonel of the... Okay, so we're going to start over here, guys. Just so that I can get this all in one solid clip and make it a solid run-through. What we have here is a video that was uploaded to YouTube. The only English part of this translation that's available is called Appeal of the Lieutenant Colonel of the Belarusian Military. There's been a lot of really, really strong reaction to this video from a lot of places. Judging by what I read of this translation beforehand, and I didn't read the whole thing because I thought it'd be more fun to just kind of react to it as we do it. This guy has a lot of balls. As you guys know, Belarus... if you've been watching the stream earlier, Belarus just committed to actually going to war with Ukraine, even though they've already been helping in the fighting for a couple days now. They're going to be committing their own actual troops to the fighting instead of just aiding in Russian fighting and lobbing missiles over the border. So, a short summary translation of the appeal of the Lieutenant Colonel to the Belarusian military, and this is... Scott McCullough, by the way. Scott McCullough does a really interesting thing. I'm going to link to his Twitter and his YouTube as soon as we're done with this because he's amazing. He told me I didn't have to attribute him, but I'm going to attribute the hell out of him because he's awesome. And we wouldn't be doing this without him. Yeah, let's go on. So, not a word-for-word translation. An ex of his is a native speaker, and so this is... her typing as she watches and translating it over a voice line. Okay? So, the first 2 minutes he's giving is bona fides. And we're just going to turn him down a little bit more so that I can talk over the top of him. Ending with a statement that he's not getting paid for this video and decided to make it out of concern for his homeland, its people, and his fellow soldiers. So we're going to up to about 2 minutes. Okay. The next 2 minutes are him talking about the current political situation in Belarus. That Lukashenko is making deals with Putin that are in his interest and not in the best interest of Belarus or its people. This is followed by an analysis of how the Russians have been stymied in their invasion and about them taking heavy casualties. He states that the Russians themselves have been misled by their own propagandists into believing that they would be greeted as liberators, and that those propagandists have turned white to black with their words. He finishes off this next 2 minutes talking about how the eyes of the world are on this fight and how many other countries are supporting Ukraine with war and medical supplies. That sounded like propagandists to me, so I assume this is the part where he's going to talk about Alright, we're going to fast forward him a bit. If you want to go watch this, let me pause it. If you want to go watch this yourself, if you speak the language and you want to go give a more accurate word-for-word translation, please do. Go to this YouTube video. You can submit a word-for-word closed caption translation for this, and you can make it so a whole lot more people can actually understand what's going on. I'm just doing the best I can with the resources I have. So apparently, the last 2 minutes start with a statement that Ukraine is not our enemy, and that he does not believe that there are Nazis in the Ukrainian government, and if there are, that they were elected in fair democratic elections. He brings up that the military is supposed to defend Belarus, and it's expressly forbidden by the current constitution of Belarus to invade Ukraine. that invading Ukraine would not be defending the homeland.
И положение нации изгоя для всего белорусского народа на десятилетия. Братишки, найдите способ не участвовать в этом грязном деле.
He finishes off by appealing to the soldiers not to risk their lives and honor following illegal orders that only pain, death, and shame will result from following them, and that following such orders would make outcasts of Belarusians in the international community for decades to come. He then appeals to the other officers and commanders directly that they not put their boys in dangerous situations, to keep in mind that they are charged with taking care of their troops and not to comply with illegal orders that would result in the needless deaths of their troops in a situation where nothing is gained for Belarusins and its people.
Как бы на вас ни давили, совершите настоящий мужской поступок. Примите верное решение.
He signs off acknowledging that doing so will take great civil courage and possibly personal sacrifice, but by choosing to ignore illegal orders, they might save their men, their honor, and hundreds of thousands of lives on both sides in the long term, that even if they are fired from their posts, that history will see them as heroes. I don't know about you, I found that to be a fairly powerful statement. I trust the translator to have done this accurately. This was from Ukrainian War News, which I am now subscribing to. Oh, I can't from this channel. Let me pop that video into another web browser that I am logged into real quick and subscribe to that. That's actually not the original uploader, though. I don't believe. It might be, but I don't think it is. Okay, here's an actual word-for-word translation that the original poster has made. Should I do the whole word-for-word, chat? It is quite interesting, and I could just voice over the top of him. And I could hopefully not cough in the middle of that one like a fucking dunce. Yeah, Quags, I think that video is pretty nuts. I think it's going to be a historic video. In fact, I think I should probably download it just to make sure I get it before it disappears. Let me do that real quick. Now, who knows? You know what? Let's take a step back and remember, this could totally be just a dude that's a Belarusian army, or not Belarusian army. This could totally be a Ukrainian army guy, or just an actor who's a Ukrainian who got dressed up in a Belarusian army uniform and pretended to be a lieutenant colonel, right? But jeepers, if so, that's good propaganda. Am I wrong? Like, I'm impressed by a lot of stuff that's coming out of this, one way or the other. All right, so let's go ahead and do the full reading then. Let me get a little water down my pipes. Well, let's see if we can find out. Lieutenant Colonel Reserve. Oh, I can't fucking read that. Here though, let me show you this thing right here. This is his name. Let's go look this person up and see what it says. Eh? So Google didn't like that very much. Like at all. I got no hits for news on that. I don't really have any hits for faces for this, other than like comic book characters. Doesn't mean he doesn't exist though. I'm just saying he's some reserve colonel in the Belarusian army. It's gonna be ridiculously hard to actually get info on whether this guy's legit or not. Okay, so there was a character named part of that name, a similar part of that name. Huh. You know, that would actually be about the right age. But the dude had turned, like, if that's the same dude, he's an actor. I don't think that's the right dude, though. What do you guys think? That mildly Brandon Fraser's face doesn't look the same to me. Hey, that name is interesting. So this is about that actor. I don't think that's who we're trying to look for, but it might be worth looking into it. Maybe he is an actor. Like literally just an actor that they put up. I don't know. I wish these pictures weren't squished. I guess it could be him. I don't know. I'm gonna check Odyssey for chats real quick. Hey Odyssey, seems like we got some lurkers who like to just like pop in. I still love you. Even if you never talk. So yeah, I got no idea who this guy is. Just because we can't find him doesn't mean he doesn't necessarily exist. It's not like Belarus is all that well connected, honestly, with the rest of the West. What else does it say about him? Here, we'll search that. Ah, we got a Reddit hit. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Not seeing much there. Give me a minute. Still looking through some articles. you'd think if Ukraine was going to use this person as like a fake thing, they would have at least set up a fake background. People could research for this. I'm not seeing anything that's really convincing one way or the other, guys. That's exactly my point. There's not actually, like, it's not likely to be a whole lot of info about there about obscure lieutenant colonels. I mean, I'm sure it would actually be hard to find articles about American lieutenant colonels, let alone Belarusian. Alright, let's take a second. No, he's still active. He's just saying he's an old man. Here, I'll read the full translation. That'll help some in just establishing who he says he is. Give me a second. Gotta get a little bit of water. Alright, so let's set this up one more time. This is supposedly Lieutenant Colonel of the Reserve. I can't pronounce his name, but he's going to pronounce it himself over the top of me. I'm just going to read what is supposedly the translation of his words that was posted below. This is supposedly a word-for-word translation, whereas the one I shared just a few minutes ago was a rough translation. So, here we go. I wish you good health, defenders of the fatherland. I appeal to you. My appeal to you, Lieutenant Colonel of the Reserve, whatever his name is. I introduce myself since I quit a long time ago. Some of the current paratroopers may not know me, although probably everyone has heard about the Black Eagle tests. Black Eagle tests? Stop. I'm not going to read this whole thing. This is going to get nuts and it's going to get long, and I don't want to do the whole thing. But I will tell you, we're going to look up Black Eagle tests. Belarus? Uh-oh. Who is charter97.org? So the only thing I can find about this is related to itself. I'm starting to smell something kind of fishy here, boys. Boys, this smells fishy, boys. Black Eagle Archives. Let's see what this is. Ah, some kind of boot. We're starting to run out of Black Eagle posts, boys. Alright, so nothing out of Black Eagle test, eh? The current prowess and skill came from just there, well, and also from that once upon a time the 38th Breast Landing Brigade every morning ran 10 kilometers. And swam in the lake in full force all year round. Sure, buddy. Well, I'm just the brigade commander who ran ahead of the brigade for 4 years and was the first to jump in the hole. I'm Black Eagle number 1. Oh, okay. All the most important things in life usually happen impromptu and unexpectedly. You can't prepare to be a hero. Okay, maybe we are reading this. All the most... and it's just that in life... In the life of every person, a situation suddenly arises in which you must commit and act here and now, and either go down in history or try to wait for a more opportune moment. Okay, I'm just going to post this to the channel. Here's the link to that video. The first comment, the most liked comment in the section, is the translation. If you guys want to see it, I'm gonna see if I can put it as a comment on the video when we're done. But that was interesting. In case it's not clear, I haven't eaten for most of the day, so I've been snacking on some peanuts. Because they're delicious and nutritious. See if we got any updates on the front. Oh, wow. Yet another one of these. Let me bust out that video again, because it's just... every time I see it, it makes me feel crazy. If you haven't seen it yet, this happened on day 2? Day 1 or day 2? I think it might have been day 1. It can take me a few seconds to find. Well, heck, where'd it go? I know it's in here somewhere. Why can't I seem to find this? Anyhow, let's see if we got any live updates. Heavy clashes. So it looks like they're moving out of the Luhansk region. Huh. I'm not finding that video. It should be labeled. Oh, here we go. Guy's just sitting there at his computer and a missile falls through his ceiling. And instead of running, he grabs his phone and films it. It's unbelievable. Slop level over 9,000. Alright. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's been a bunch more Bayraktar footage put out. Like a lot more. Maybe if you had a beet in a bowl on the table. Those Bayraktars are putting in work. Just missing him get in for a selfie. Yeah. Sorry about that. My heater kicked on. Had to go turn it off. Heavy troops are moving military equipment to Sumy. Threat of street battles. Via Ukrainian Telegram group. Very interesting. We're gonna go scan the Twitter timeline, see what we got. I got a joke from my friend Polyfrog. This is hilarious. Ukraine's closed, boys. We did it, boys. We saved Ukraine. Confirmed. No stingrays. So here's a strike on Kharkiv that we've got a good angle on for an MLRS strike. Oof. Yep, that appears to be MLRS to me. Wonder what they're hitting. Again, this is outside of Kharkiv. Apparently some were saying that might have been cluster munitions, but it's definitely not. That's just MLRS rocket fire. That's what a lot of rockets look like when they all land all together. I'm just going to scan Rob Lee's feed for a while because he's fantastic. Possibly used to cluster munitions in Kharkiv. This is the same thing, but this is where they were saying it might have been cluster munitions. Yeah, no, that's just MLRS. Oh, him getting in for a selfie. I get it now. Nah, he should have slob squatted next to it. Video of a column near Kherson. What looks like a ZD electronic warfare system. 3 Tor M2s. Air defense. T-LAR. We're going to look up what all these are as soon as we're done watching this, eh? Because apparently there's also a command post. So it'd be nice to know what these are for identifying in future videos. Actually, why don't we look it up first and then we can actually identify it in the video itself. Good training tool. Can only slob swat when fully tracksuited. Of course. Of course! A Krushka. Or Belladonna. Russian mobile ground attack or ground-based electronic warfare system. The Krushka primarily targets are airborne radio electronics such as UAVs and airborne systems, guided by radar. Okay, so we'll have to see if it's Krushka 2 or Krushka 3. Krushka 2 is meant to jam AWACS. Very interesting. Short range, though. The Tor missiles are kind of obvious. All-weather, medium altitude, short range, surface-to-air missile. So let's look up this one, though. So it looks like that is the command post for an air defense station, essentially. That's what that looks like. One of these is what I'm guessing. Yep, one of those. Alright, let's watch the vid. Dude, no, Quags, I'll absolutely. I just, I don't have Twitter pulled up all the time. Let me check it out now. Well, I can imagine. That might be the same MLRS strike we saw. It's funny how it claims that they're decimating Ukrainian military positions, although it's just showing the firing, it's not showing the landing. Yeah, that's that Tor rocket we were looking at. Brave Ukrainian scouter just hanging out. Damn. What's that beast? It's another tour. Another one of whatever that beast is. Yeah, I can imagine. Let's check this out, though. I'm gonna pull this copy pasta. We'll watch this video. So this shows MLRSs. No, those aren't MLRSs. What are those? Is that tracer fire? That might be tracer fire. I don't know, though. If it's impacting something, it's interesting. Like maybe that's a building. Yeah, I think that is a building. I think that's what we're looking at. What's this light shining outwards, though? And how is it not shot and or electricity severed? I don't know. Could be. Different angle. Here we go. No, okay, I am seeing that is a G-Rad battery. Let me look this up. Yeah, that's smaller MLRS rockets. I'll pull it up here in a minute. That'll be a BM-21 Grad. I don't know. Can't see where they're landing, though. So that's 2 trucks worth, roughly, that's firing. This isn't the first time we've seen MLRS in cities. What I have been surprised yet is that we haven't seen any thermobaric warhead usage. Yeah, the whole liberation of Ukraine thesis is not really going well for them, is it? Not seeing a whole lot of people buying that one anymore. Let's go back to Mr. Rob Lee. Video of explosion in Kharkiv. Another angle of those strikes in Kharkiv from earlier. Yeah, this is what we were just watching. I think this might have been where those MLRS rockets were landing that we were just watching, but it maybe not. No, because it's a different time of day. The one was taken at night, and this one's obviously during daylight hours. So, SU-27 is what we're seeing from earlier. See the wild vid of Zelensky dancing like Beyonce in heels? Quite the sight. No, I have not. I know he used to be a comedian, though. That part's wild. I know that he used to be a comedian, and also... Okay, hold on. I was wondering about this last night. About what the hell they were shooting at. Geolocation of the damaged building and armory in Kharkiv. It seems... Or it's in the same location where we've seen clash footage yesterday. We may presume that the Russians hid in the school while the clashes were going on. The damage is huge. So it's that yellow school behind them that they were shooting at. That would make sense as to why they're crouched and down and why they're... Okay, well that sucks. So this is... I can go back and show this whole fight now, and now we can see what they were shooting at. Oh, this stinks. These are civilians who this is their, I guess it's their community school, you know what I mean? Now it's just fucking blown to shit. Oh hell, that's completely demolished. It was a beautiful old building too. Let me pull those other videos while this is running. It's gonna take me a little while. I really should have downloaded these, but I don't think I did. So now I've got to go back through it and just search. You know what? While we're, I'm gonna keep this here. I'm also gonna pull up this other video that I just wanted to show earlier. I don't like to show refugees, but this is a group of chefs that are caring for Ukrainian refugees, and I don't think there's that many refugees in the video itself. He's mostly just showing the setup that locals are doing.
Here, used in the town of Medica, right, southern part in the border of Poland. Here is where we have the World Central Kitchen feeding facility. There is this road that people come from Ukraine. Ukraine is like 500 meters. In my back, I use facility to be walking, and what you're gonna see is that people don't stop arriving. People are cold, families are cold. They carry with them whatever they can bring, usually a suitcase, but they are bringing children. It's freezing cold. I don't know how people make it. But what you see is that they're escaping a tragedy. So we are in different places across the border in Poland. We are already feeding in Romania. We're gonna be in different entry points too. Remember, it's a lot of roads that leave Ukraine in different parts across. So from Poland to Romania, Moldova, Hungary. We're going to be in different countries already. We are in different countries. We are inside Ukraine. We have restaurants inside Odessa feeding. We are contacting others. We are telling them, guys, there's many ways to fight. And some people fight just making sure that people are fed. And those are our people, and we're going to be supporting them in many ways. So this is phase one, taking care of the borders and having, I think we've done a good job in less than 3 days. Tomorrow, I mean, we are exponentially increasing the output of meals. I think only around here we've done over 8,000 meals, only here. And we have
Damn, 8,000 meals in one location.
Points, okay? But if we need to reach 250,000, we will. Then phase two is at the same time, all these people are arriving, they are in Poland, but it's happening in other parts, are sending them to shelters, some in Warsaw, some in nearby cities. Warsaw is 4 hours away from where I am here in Medica. But imagine the same in every other country. And phase three will be to get trucks ready to go inside Ukraine once peace is reached. So we can go to different cities, open different community kitchens, and cover where there may be huge need. It's amazing, but one neighborhood at a time, one restaurant at a time, you can take care of a neighborhood. It's doable. We're gonna be bold. We're gonna think this way. So let's take care of the refugees right now. Let's take care of them once they go to shelters. And hopefully the war will stop soon, and then we can take care of them when they go back to Ukraine. That should be phase one, phase two, phase three. I'm gonna make sure that we don't fail. The team led by Nate Mook of World Central Kitchen, I know we will do the best we can on behalf of all of you. Bye guys, I'll report later. My hand is about to break. I don't know how these people arrive.
So that's really cool. That's a chef who runs an organization that goes to care for refugees and sets up these big kitchens in order to keep them fed and warm and taken care of. So That's really great. I want to show this. This is one of the Russian BM-21 Grads. This is what we were just watching. This is probably what we were just watching do that firing during that night fire video. Oh, shoot. Where did it go? Here we go. So this is a video of a BM-1 Grad that they just captured, loaded and fully working. While I look for this other video, I was looking this other series of videos that I was looking for.
БК, разом, машина на лайне, пушка лежит. Ця фінансація просто частина цієї техніки, вона кинула.
I just found a video from Tokmak 2, actually. I'm going to put this up after we're done watching this.
Не знають, куди йдуть, воювати не хочуть. У них там бунти піднімаються. Можливо, десь є в нас проблеми.
Here's a video of Tokmak of somebody hitting a convoy with a Molotov.
Закрой! Наоборот! Ты хочешь запах солярки услышать? Ой, бля! Ё-моё!
Oh, wow! Somebody hit a vehicle on the run with a Molotov. That we're gonna watch that one again.
Закрой! Наоборот! Ты хочешь запах солярки услышать? Ой, бля! Ё-моё!
Damn. Damn. Okay. We're gonna go back just a little bit. There's also this video that I saw that I wanted to show on stream that I wasn't able to find again at the moment, but now we're gonna see it again. These are Ukrainian jets are not the only ones that are still active, guys. Ukraine also appears to have some helicopters still working that they have refitted to work as like special operations helicopters. They're not the most likely helicopters you would imagine for the task. They are old Soviet era transport helicopters that they have modified to put rocket pods on the side of.
Пошли за автоматом, пошли на войну, не одна.
Presumably off to go do some secret squirrel shit. Those were originally... Oh wow, look at that. Hold on, they were getting shot at just there. I didn't see that in the first video. I think he just had to deploy chaff.
Пошли за автоматом, пошли на войну, не одна.
Watch over here, over here. I wish he was focusing on the helicopter more. He's not. Yeah, I think that's shooting chaff. It's still flying though. Or maybe it was firing something? Yeah, it's still flying though. Maybe not. No, it's still flying. That's nuts. Yeah, I meant to grab that yesterday and show that to you guys, but I wasn't able to. Yeah, the Molotov videos are nuts. I'm still seeing if I can find these damn videos that I meant to grab of... and that I didn't, and I'm gonna grab right now while we're watching them this time. Of the those tigers that were taken out, the ones that don't have videos of the former drivers. in them, because that's pretty gruesome, and I'm pretty sure I would get dinged for that. But the ones later, after they've been stripped out and the corpses have been moved. So this is the geolocation of where that took place. We're going to pop that up on screen right now. Ah, here's the video we were looking for right here.
Відходимо, відходимо. Балу, дай.
We actually wanted the earlier videos in that chain, so we'll watch it and then we'll follow it in and see if we can find them.
Райкор сила.
So they're shooting up this school right there. We were wondering what they were shooting at and why the guys were like right here hiding behind this tire store. It's that school. So presumably when these columns got attacked, the Russians took shelter in the school, Ukrainians started raiding the vehicles. They probably started shooting on the Ukrainians that were raiding the vehicles after a while, after they started feeling brave. And then these dudes took them out with some RPG fire. It's kind of what it seems like.
Відходимо. Балу, дай.
So let's go into that and see if they've got the one before that where they're searching through those vehicles.
Балу. Балу.
I want the earlier video from that incident. I'm not seeming to have a very easy time finding it. Let me go back to searching where I was. We'll update this in the meantime and see if we got any new news coming in. And then I need to check some of those pings that I've got real quick. So, yeah, that's those. This must be Zelensky dancing in high heels. Oh my god. I hate it. Thanks. Thanks, I hate it. Ukrainian gypsies. You got me video for the Ukrainian gypsies? Quags, I love you. Oh. Alright. We're gonna watch that real quick. And then we'll go then we'll go on and read some of the updates that have apparently happened. This is a video from reportedly that event earlier where a bunch of gypsies stole an armored vehicle. Here you go.
Хорошая штука по дровам в лесе. Наши тянут БТР, блядь, до дома.
Oh, that was pretty good. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. Love that. Love every bit of that. Okay, so here we go. Here's more video from that incident that I was hoping for. I don't see any other way to show you guys this though, so here we go. These are from a Telegram channel. This is 3 or 4 of those Russians from that Tiger convoy that got beat up. And this is them going to hide in the school. Supposedly. Slavic gypsies are god tier, I swear. Yeah. Yeah, that definitely looks like a Russian soldier trying to be sneaky. Oh, I see the other ones now. Okay. Those boys look run down. Alright, so Russian troops driving APC attack civilian car, then seize it. Well, that's not going to help with their whole, hey, evacuate Kiev thing, now, is it?
Шановні охтирчани, війна не закінчилась. Будь ласка, зберігаємо спокій, але не забуваємо про безпеку. Тільки що перед Чупаховкою на БТРі ворог розстріляв легковий автомобіль марки 99, ВАЗ-99. Громадян викинули з автомобіля і самі пересіли туди і поїхали.
Is this just him explaining what happened? Because I got nothing for that.
Будь ласка, війна продовжується.
I got nothing for that. I have no idea whether that's that or some guy explaining that his car got jacked by Russian troops, or I don't know. Russian soldiers surrendered to Ukrainian army near the southeastern city of Zarapov? I don't know. That must be like a teeny tiny little city. Let's see what we got for that source. No pictures, doesn't look like. Just an Arabic source. Yeah, I'm not really sure I trust that. Widespread damage after Russian attacks. Where's that? Ah, that's the tip of the push towards Kiev from the Kharkiv area. Oof. That's a lot of damage. Yeah. In the immortal words of Phil Swift, that's a lot of damage. EU ambassador will this afternoon discuss and likely adopt the SWIFT sanctions on Russia and a big economic sanctions on Belarus. Okay. Fire in Okirta as a result of shelling. Russian troops are moving military equipment into Sumy. Threats of street battles. That's where we were last time. All right, let's keep deep diving into some of this other stuff that I wanted to find. Let me see. It's a good weird flex joke. Yeah, I'm not understanding why Belarus wants to move nukes into Belarus. It really doesn't make any sense. The ICBMs that those nukes are attached to don't really give two shits about the couple hundred miles. Doesn't let them hit anything additionally. Man, there are just a ton of Russians that have been captured and severely wounded out of Kharkiv. It's not been pretty. I'd show that, but the dude's obviously pretty wounded. I've also got radio frequencies apparently for the Russian troops. That's not good. That could have something to do with the effectiveness of the Ukrainian defense, honestly. This is from an hour ago. We're going to read this. This is Scott McCullough. This is the guy who provided us that rough translation. Ukraine Day 5. First, our daily show. Okay, so he's announcing his daily show for today. I highly recommend you participate. That's going to be 9 Eastern, I believe. Yep, 9 Eastern. All the latest moves and developments. Good stuff. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, guys. I think we're reaching 2 hours as well. We got 5 minutes till we're at 2 hours. Do you guys have any questions before we go? Is there anything I didn't cover? I mean, there's a ton of stuff that I wanted to cover I didn't cover. Maybe I should just stick it out. I was really hoping for some news. Set your clocks, y'all. Yeah, that's true. Let me give that quote a share tweet. Be there. If I'm awake after broadcasting. We'll see. A lot of foreign fighters showing up to Kiev. I've got some pictures. They've got blacked out faces, so they should be okay. But as I was saying earlier, guys, there are a lot of foreign fighters showing up to fight for Kiev. Not that we can say for sure they're all foreign fighters. This could just be Ukrainians dressed up in foreign gear. But the Danes started a program to try and raise volunteers for this, so you never know. I'd be curious to see what these are. Isn't that a... That looks like an updated Blackbeard logo. I'm the sauce. Oh, bro, I appreciate that. Oh, foreign fighters. This must just be one of those underground bunkers somewhere in Kiev. Got an in-law in there. It's interesting. So I'm seeing some plain box mags in here. Is this guy... This guy's got an AR. Looks like... Am I wrong? That is not a curved mag. That looks like an AR. Huh. Same with this guy. Yeah, that is an AR. Some of these are AKs with the same buttstock systems as an AR would have, but... Or not AKs per se, but AK-based platforms. I don't know, Brandon Herrera would probably come in here and slap the shit out of me for saying that, but... Negotiations between Belarus and Ukraine have started. I've got a picture for that. We'll link if you find again. Saw a picture of Brit Ann's a Yank fighting in streets on day 2. Yeah, I mean, I've actually heard that there is some Coach Red Pill person who's an American that's out there fighting. Has been for all 5 days from what I've heard. Yeah, please do link again if you find that. So here's our Russian, Belarusian, Ukrainian negotiations. Let's see. Oh boy! TOS-1 thermobaric warhead being launched outside of Mariupol. I figured they would start using these today. That's not good. I'm not excited about that. No, not home. I don't want to go home on Twitter. I want to go see this Rob Lee post. Warning, thermobarics are fucking crazy. Actually, it doesn't look like it's being fired. I think it's being driven. Yeah, I've seen these TOS-1s. Yeah, I've seen those TOS-1s being driven around just about everywhere. What markings did that have? I was so distracted by that music. What is this music? It's a Z. Alright. Well, that's interesting. So they shoot thermobaric warheads. Thermobaric warhead is essentially like a small version of a Moab. In this rocket's case, a Moab is a thermobaric warhead. Let's see what else we got. There's that unexploded 500-pounder we looked at earlier. Let's get a refresh on this, see if we get anything. Oh, this is hilarious. Something that I knew beforehand, but let's just talk about it. While some social media have been abuzz with American boycotts of Russian vodka and pouring their Stoli and Smirnoff bottles amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine, a trade group spokesperson reminded everyone on Sunday that these brands are not imported from Russia. Duh. You utter mouth breathers. I hate people sometimes so much. Let's pretend that it was imported directly from Russia, right? Let's pretend that you actually do have actual Russian vodka, which ain't that special. Vodka is not special. It doesn't taste different when it comes from different places. I'm sorry. But let's pretend that you do have Russian vodka. If it's in your country, you already paid the person who made it before it ever crossed their border. Isn't that special? I fucking hate people so much. Alright, moving on. Seven minutes ago, Israeli Foreign Minister Lapid said that Israel will vote in favor of UN General Assembly resolution condemning Russian invasion of Ukraine. Was that gonna get rid of... Website of Russian media TASS, Fontanica Kommersant hacked. Okay. Well, that'll teach him. Wait, did I just see a Pantsir S out of service and seized in Kherson? Oh, that's big boy news. That's the big boy S400 system right there, boys. They better go grab a couple of those Ukrainian tractors they were hauling tanks with yesterday and get that hauled back to base somewhere. Get some new treads put on that. Russian Mi-35 down near Kherson Oblast. So Kherson is still putting up a fight, damn it. Highly impressive. Alright, here we've got a SATGM being staged. I want to go back and say, hey guys, don't think we know all of the markings for all of the Russian units. This is just an example. The other day somebody was like, hey, that tank couldn't possibly have been Russian. These are confirmed Russian units moving through the Donbass. They're using this weird stripe that a lot of people were theorizing was Ukrainian. Found and tagged. Video doesn't show much, but can hear communications between the two. Let me go see. British and American volunteers fighting in the battle for Homestelle Airport. So let's go look at where Homestelle Airport is real quick. Go back. So Homestelle Airport is this guy. No, it's Gluttelman. Let's look up where Homestelle is. There's so many. Homestelle, yeah. So that is the Homestelle Airport right there. This is where the fighting's been just stupid heavy. This is from the 25th. The video I'm about to share. Apparently, we're gonna get to see some British and American volunteers communicating as they fight to save fight to hold Homestelle.
Don't move, don't move. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Fuck.
Hope they made it out of here.
We need to be in the building. Yeah, there's no entry in there. Mate, there's no doors.
I might watch this twice. You never know. This might be the last we ever hear of these two. Thanks, Quags. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna mute myself and then we're gonna restart it.
We just had shells. Fuck. Shells just landed by us. What's going on?
I don't see nothing.
What's happening? Greg, we need to be in the building, man.
Russian.
Huh?
Helicopter to my fucking 12. Behind the buildings.
Seen. Moving right to left. Firing. Flares. Those are flares out.
Means they're getting shot up.
Whew. This is fucking war.
Alright, let's shut up and restart that and listen to the whole thing again without me talking.
That's close. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Fuck. We need to be in the building.
We got buildings right
Yeah, there's no entry in there.
Fucking make one.
Mate, there's no doors. Fuck.
How you holding up, brother? Why? Or it's going right over top of us.
We just had shells come in. Fuck. Shells just landed by us. What's going on?
I don't see nothing.
What's happening? Greg, we need to be in the building, man.
Russian.
Huh?
Helicopter to my fucking 12. Behind the buildings.
Seen. Moving right to left. Firing. Flares.
Throws the flares out. Needs to get shot at. Whew! This is fucking war.
Well, there we go, folks. 24th of February, so this would have been second day of fighting. First or second day of fighting. Russian helicopter fires in the airfield at approximately 1:44 in the video above. Apparently they are private contractors. It is believed that there were over 400 in Ukraine before the war started. Yeah, I knew that there were some. Among the among the Ukrainian defenders of the Hostomel airport yesterday was Jason, a British volunteer. After a hard drink, he shared this with me, his story and some video of yesterday's combat, including this one. Whoo! Interesting. Interesting stuff. Very interesting. Let me see what else we got here. Let me see. Let's see. There's that S400 platform we just saw. There's a bunch of Canadians complaining about phantom honking. Could not give two shits less. There's some rapper who got killed. Website of Mikovsky, Komsolates, Forbes, Tekadela, RBC, People Talk, and many others, as well as websites for several banks in Russia are not working today. The website for TASS, RBC, Bureau 47, Chalk, E1 were all hacked. Yeah, so Anonymous has escalated the cyber war. I don't know if merely taking websites offline is going to be considered all that serious, but we'll see. I have a tendency to doubt it. Let's keep moving. Let's see what we got. Okay, it does look like the Russian military is starting to commit its other military capabilities after a questionable start. This video shows an Su-34 bomber reportedly over Kharkiv. And yeah, I'd seen a couple of reports of this Su-34. I think we looked at a video of it earlier. It's just a real short one. But it gives us a real good profile of the plane. Yeah, it looks like an Su-34 to me.
Пацаны, приколотно, это уже седьмой.
Let's see. Anything else new? What do you guys think? Are we going to see peace today? There's a Belarusian army column near Korbrin in the Brest region. I'm going to pull up where that is on a map once we're done looking at it. It's a lot of equipment. It's a lot of equipment. I'm also seeing large reports of fires in the Sumy region after Russian bombing there. There's a military warehouse on fire in Charkiv after Russian shelling. Here's a shelling video from Donetsk. Let's look real quick. This is Korbrin, Brest. Let's go look that up. supposedly fairly recent. I'm also watching a shelling video, but there's not much in it. Looks like Russian and DPR troops have captured Novoyarda. We're going to pull that up so we can watch it while I look up the other space. Big grain of salt. This is coming from Russian media. You never really know. Like I said, they tried to say they captured Mariupol 2 days ago by posting a random picture of raising a flag, lowering a Ukrainian flag and raising a Russian flag somewhere with no verifiable way to tell where it was.
Ал, я живой, все нормально, скоро будем дома.
Я тоже живой! Давай красную полевую!
Все будет классно.
Давай, давай! Давай, ну, прошу! Давай, давай! Давай, ну, прошу!
Interesting. I'm not super convinced that that's an accurate representation. There's that hind that we just saw get downed. And here's a chart showing supposed Russian losses as of the 28th. So 29 planes, 29 helicopters, nearly 200 tanks, 74 artillery pieces. Damn. 816 armored cars. I don't have a hard time believing that. Those TIGRs have just been littering the streets. BUK system. I actually don't know what that is, but I think that might be those TOS missiles that we were looking at earlier. Those Grad systems, which are those smaller rocket artilleries. Cars. 3 drones, eh? 5 anti-aircraft warfare systems. I think that includes a big mix of some stuff, and I don't know why they wouldn't include the electronic warfare systems and the command post vehicles that they've captured. Alright, so we've got some video from the talks. This is not long, it's just a little 15-second clip of them sitting down.
Прилетіла. Походу, сварать.
Alright, I hate that. Let's get this, which is a bit of an MLRS rocket that landed in
Пішли я на роботу піти.
near
Така
Kharkiv.
тут вона піздюлінка прилетіла. Походу, сворачується моя роботка, йду додому.
I'm assuming it's unexploded.
Блядь. Ні. Все, до побачення. Я їбав. Рішив я на роботу
Ха.
піти. Отака.
Ha ha ha. Well, I don't know, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to see me cover? Just try and get live map to load up again, see if anything... Oh, don't worry about it. You're studying, my dude. Doing the important stuff. Russian Ministry Shoigu reported to Putin that strategic nuclear forces, Russian strategic missile troops, North and Pacific fleets, strategic aviation put on combat alert according to Putin's orders. Again, we've seen reports that they didn't actually do anything. So it's an interesting announcement, but I'm not really convinced. Either way, I don't know. So I have seen multiple reports that Ukrainian prison inmates that had combat experience are being released under commitment to fight for the country, which is not unheard of. They just need warm bodies. But it's risky. You don't do it if the fight is going real well for you. I'll put it that way. Huh. Let me read this post. That's real dumb. I don't know. If you want to go fight, like this is a post from some individual who claims that they are feeling a growing pain inside them for the Ukrainian people and that they're ready to go fight. And my answer to that is, there are private contracts available. Get your ass on a plane. Said whoever wants to come fight can. I think my goal is to show my fellow Americans that we as Americans must do something. Yeah, no. Get fucked. You go on your own dime, bud. I'm sure people will be willing to pay you. That's not... America does not need to get involved as a nation. That's utterly untrue. All right. Let's see if we got any more serious news. I think it might be time for me to take a quick nap and break before we get up and do this all again in the morning, folks. Unless we've got some new breaking hotness coming out. But I don't think we will. Yeah, looks like all more of the same. Just getting pushed back and pushed back, and then pushing themselves back into various different contested regions around Mariupol, trying to prevent it from being encircled. And same around Kiev. Seems like they've been holding right here. What's this? Burning military equipment apron. Yeah. We've seen this before. We'll look at it again real quick. Yeah, it's not a safe place to be standing. That tank could still blow. There's still ammo inside there that could cook off and kill you. You need to not be there. Don't go film like this, kids. That's a... Oh, hey, whoa, no, not that. That's not for this stream. Didn't realize that ended with that. Let's go back. British Defense Minister, the Russians are still failing to achieve major goals. Yeah, it's just 4 hours ago. Let's see about this. All these armor columns that we see here. Russian troops randomly shooting civilian buildings. Huh. I hadn't seen this earlier. Yeah, it does kind of look like they are just randomly shooting civilian buildings. That one looks like they may have broke in there to get food. Just drove the BMP right into the front. And that looks like it might have just been a stray shot. Look at these weird street lamps. And that looks more targeted. That looks like there's probably some resistance fighter that was up there that got shot at by a tank. So that looks like to me anyways.
Червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо.
Gotta assume that that is the national anthem. Let's see. Russian columns spotted here. This was 3 hours ago. This does appear to be the farthest that they pushed as of that point. Yeah, we saw this. Let's go see what else there is. What was this? Russian tanks firing off a round. Okay. I don't know if we saw this one. Whoa. Our filming person was definitely scared. I don't know where that round was fired at, though. Something back here. Well, that's nuts. That one's a little bit crazy to me. I'd like to figure out what they were shooting at. So, before we get off, I definitely want to talk about a theory that I have. I just want to put this out there to the world, just as a, hey, I told you so. You know, just in case it really does happen, because I think it might. I think someone is gonna make... Oh, hold on, we gotta go look through Battle Beagles. So as rosy as things look sometimes, we gotta remember that this doesn't necessarily... We're seeing the world through a straw here, right? Here's another way of looking at the maps that we've been looking at so far, right? Is that they've encircled the major cities, which allows the next phase of their plans to continue. They haven't quite encircled them yet, but that's what they're moving towards. You can clearly tell this is the line of battle as it currently seems to be, and these are the big cities that they're talking about, right? Apart from Kiev, which that's a little far down, actually. They're not quite that close, I don't think. He's just pointing out that they're encircling and choking off the cities, and it doesn't seem like it Russia's got a lot more to give in a lot of these. And so unless something really changes, this does seem like a pretty inevitable conclusion. But the Ukrainians are making it as costly as possible for this to happen. Ukrainian war hero NFTs, a couple more and I might start it myself. I'm just saying, like, maybe Ukrainian legend NFTs, right? So anyhow, let me go back to my profile and grab that post. Here it is. I keep seeing some of these. Tag me in any of them you see, because I'd love to just make a whole thread of all of the fake joke ones, as well as the, wow, that's terrible, there's no way that's true. And stuff like this, which is just silly. It does appear to be somewhat true. I'll show you here in just a second. But I'm telling you that Ukrainian war hero NFTs are going to become the new war bonds of this movement. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Somebody's going to mint them, and they're going to be like, hey, 90% of all proceeds go directly to the Ukrainian war effort. And they're going to healthy cash themselves out on that 10% and call it a day. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. So here's a new Ukrainian legend that dropped a few hours ago. Ukrainian sailor, to be clear, not a military sailor, just a regular old sailor. Works for civilian companies, right? Supposedly sinks the yacht he was working on, which belongs to a Russian oligarch who ran Russian defense company Rosborno Export. He said he had to do it after he saw Russian missiles striking Ukrainian apartment buildings. That would have been the big missile blast. I'm going to pull that video up real quick. I know I've got that. Let me actually play some of these videos that I have that I haven't seen in a lot of other places since then. But let's find that missile strike on that apartment building. Is it this one? Nope. That's helicopters on day one. So this is a different angle on that rocket strike. There's another one that's on this building right here. I think probably like right here. Let me see if I can find that one. Let's see. What's this one? I don't know if I've watched this one since I downloaded it. Oh, that's the MLRS fire. Let's see. Missile strike.
Народ, это пиздец, прямо возле нас.
Yeah, that's Kiev Oblast, so that's a different area. Moment of the strike. Here we go. So I'm assuming it's that video that he saw. Or the one from the inside that I could probably spend some more time finding, but I don't want to. Have you guys seen the one from inside the building when the missile hit? If you haven't, I'll go find it. But if you've already seen it, which if you've watched my streams, you've already seen it. Oh, wait, there it is. It's right there. Might as well. Apparently, though, this building was either evacuated or unoccupied at the time. So, hard to say. Oh, just because the music's gone, thank you for pointing it out. And it's good to know that the music provides a good enough background. Let's find some more chill wave. Is it drown out now? You're probably going to hear the bubbling now forever just because it's always been there. You just didn't realize that's what it was. I personally also find it kind of relaxing. It's like being next to a brook. I got a bunch of little endangered fish species that I quite like. But yeah, here we go. This guy supposedly sank it. Here's the sauce for that. I do enjoy getting down to the sauce. Ukrainian arrested for attempt to see. Okay, we're gonna take this. We're gonna toss it into archive, and then we're gonna be able to read it even though we haven't signed up for the service or whatever. Paste. Save. Okay, I'll let you know once that's done and we'll go read it. Oh, okay. Hey. A Ukrainian was arrested by the Guardia Civil on Saturday for attempting to sink a luxury yacht owned by Alexandry Mikheyev, CEO of exactly who he says it was. He'd been working on a $7 million Euro lot, Lady Anastasia, for some 10 years. On Saturday, he watched television footage of a Ukrainian cruise missile hitting a block of flats. That was definitely the video that I was just talking about. He took it that it was a cruise missile produced by Mahiv's company. He went to the yacht in Port Adriano, intent on revenge by causing material damage rather than personnel. He opened a large valve in the engine room and a second in another compartment where the crews live. He closed the fuel valves and turned off the electricity and told 3 crewmen to abandon ship. They told him he was crazy. He reminded them that they were Ukrainians and that their homeland was under attack. They and other workers at Port Andriano tried to stop the water leak, the yacht having partially sunk when the Guardia arrived. He told them the owner of this yacht is a criminal who makes a living selling weapons, and which now kill Ukrainians. He appeared in court on Sunday, and the judge released him on charges. What? Let's see how trustworthy the Majorca Daily Bulletin is. Oh, he was arrested in Mallorca. Well, that makes sense. Actually, this all makes a lot more sense. Mallorca Daily. What was it again? Bulletin. Latest news in Mallorca. Whoa! We have an update on this story, boys! Ukrainian yacht engineer returns home to fight Russian invaders. I wonder if this might just be a psyop. Let's see if there's other... There's a lot of other content on this page, actually. I think they just know what's going to be... what's popular right now. Oh my gosh, we've got a bunch of other stories for this guy. Ah, maybe I need to take and clip this. Kremlin says EU weapons supplies to Ukraine are dangerous. Well, I mean, I hate to be this guy, but that is kind of the point. That is rather the point. Is it not? I don't know, guys. This looks like a real website. Let's read some of those follow-up articles and see what it says. Is anyone else interested in this? Ukrainian yacht engineer. Okay, so I don't regret a thing. Ukrainian unrepentant for attempting to sink yacht. The 55-year-old Ukrainian who attempted to sink the luxury yacht belonging to Alexander Mikhiev stated in court on Sunday, "I don't regret anything I've done and I would do it again." Arrested for partially sinking the luxury yacht in Port Adriano, he fully accepts the facts of the case and assumed total responsibility. Do you guys have any idea how much damage he did to that yacht? Like, those are not supposed to be submerged at all. Partially sinking it, depending on how far down it went, like, you could be talking about millions of dollars to make this thing usable again, if that. Oh, lads. This guy might be the first one of these that turns out to actually be true. It'll be interesting. I wonder if there's a way to go check the Majorca's court system to see if this guy was actually ever arraigned there. My boss is a criminal who sells weapons that kill the Ukrainian people. He has worked as a mechanic. Very interesting, trying to work. Okay, sorry about that. What is proper, not as fun? Yeah, I know, trying to work out what's propaganda or not, it's really fun. Arrested for partially... Okay, anyways. He has worked as a mechanic on the Lady Anastasia for some 10 years. He acted after seeing a news report on the television. He told the judge, "I watched the news about the war. There was a video of a helicopter attack on a building in Kiev." Oh, never mind. The apartments used are produced by the yacht, the armaments used are used by the yacht owner's company. Well, this has changed a bit. The first report was that it was of a cruise missile attack. This says it's a helicopter. I haven't seen a helicopter attack a building in Kiev. Maybe he has. Of course, I don't watch the news. Taras Ostapchuk. I should just do a video about this. I should quit streaming soon after I'm done with this. Just take all of this and just make a quick video for YouTube all by itself, just a standalone. Taras Ostapchuk, the Ukrainian engineer who allegedly tried to sink the Russian-owned yacht where he worked, left Majorca this afternoon, bound for Ukraine, where he intends to take up arms against the Ukrainian invaders. According to an interview with their sister newspaper, Ultima Hora. Let's go. We'll give them a search here in a minute. No, I said here in a minute. He was arrested by the Guardia Civil, but later released. Taras was so horrified by a missile attack on an apartment building in his home country by Russian forces that he attempted to sink the yacht Lady Anastasia, The missile hit an apartment block very similar to the ones where I lived in Ukraine. He told our sister newspaper. He went on to say that after seeing this, he decided to take his revenge on the Russian owner of the vessel, where he has worked for the last 10 years. Later today, he will board a flight for Poland and then on to Ukraine. Based, if true. Based and boat pilled. Based and brine pilled. Oh, man. Who knows, guys? Who knows? Propaganda is so strong in war. But this one seems like the most likely one to me. Am I Am I the only one who feels like this one feels like the most real? Seems the most feasible too, because I know that these big yachts have large crews. I know that they have people on them maintaining them at all times, and they usually are like, hey, crew, meet me at X and X place and then take me out to this place, and you just kind of do everything for me. That's kind of the point of one of these boats. I've also heard that Ukrainians often do these kind of jobs for Russians, just because they have been close in the past, and so it's very common to see them working for each other in similar manners, right? I don't know. I've been burned before. I want to see his NFT though. Ah. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a video about this. I'd like to know if the Mallorca Daily Bulletin is legit, but it seems as though it's legit from what I've been able to see. Let's look up Jason Moore, eh? The gentleman who wrote this article. Yeah, this seems legit. I think this is a legit website. Whether the story is legit or not, I don't know. But it seems like they've actually interviewed him on the ground. I feel like this is probably the most accurate one. I don't know where to drop this. What do you guys think? Is there a good place to... I should probably just record the video and then drop it as a video. I think that's what I'm going to do now, guys. I've only just got a couple hours till dawn. So, I'm going to try and get that done and wiped out before my kids wake up. We almost did 3 hours. That's pretty good. I'm not too sad about that. Probably time to brew some coffee and get a script written up for this, what should we call him before I go? Can I get some naming help with our Ukrainian yacht engineer? The floater of Kiev. I don't know. Come on, we got to get something here. Oh my god, did I just see a Jack Murphy? I just saw Jack Murphy! Oh, you guys probably don't know who Jack Murphy is, that's fine. We need a good name for old Taras Opchuk here. Something that... I don't know if we want to use the Kiev thing again, right? Because like that is kind of overused at this point. Why don't we do something more like one of the port cities? What's that big port city again? Let's pull up the map. Starts with an O. I just can't think of it right now because my brain's short-circuiting. Odessa, right? Was a good stream, bro. Yeah, man, I thought so. I appreciate you being here. It was better for you being here. Odessa. I mean, just because he's there. Although he did say he was from Kiev. So I guess we should call him Kev, or something. I'll think of something before the video. I need a clever meme title for that guy. Alright, Quags. Thanks a boatload for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks to everybody else for being here as well. We are done and dusted. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on all my other sources for more. I'm going to be releasing probably a short form video about this guy this morning. Either on probably Rumble and YouTube. Maybe Odyssey as well. We'll see. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.